So you're a wheelchair user who wants big biceps. Well, I've got the video for you. By exercising our biceps, we can get bigger and stronger arms. But specifically for us wheelchair users, it has an added benefit because it helps to protect our elbow joint when we're pushing our wheelchair. So not only will we get great looking arms in our t-shirt sleeves, but we'll also get the added benefit of injury prevention. In this video, we're going to be exploring strategies to optimize that bicep training to get the most out of every time you put them through their paces. And the first one here is that we're going to be focusing on stretch under load. This is something that not many people do when it comes to bicep training because most exercises don't put the bicep under stretch. To understand how to stretch the bicep, it's important to understand how it contracts. The bicep contracts by bending at the elbow, also twisting the hand so the palm's facing upwards, and also raising the arm up slightly. So to stretch it, we need to extend it. We can extend that elbow out, rotate the palm back, and then bring that arm right the way behind you, and you'll start to feel a stretch in that bicep. Now we understand how the bicep can stretch, we can do exercises that allow us to get right the way through that so we can get full range of motion when we're doing our bicep exercises. One of the best exercises for hitting this is the cable behind bicep curl. This is where we simply set the cable machine up nice and low, grab it in one hand, move away from it slightly so your arm is stretched out behind you. Then from there, simply executing a normal bicep curl with the palm facing upwards the whole time. You may notice when doing this that it's actually quite difficult and you might not be able to do as much weight as you normally can. That's because we're hitting fibers that you don't normally hit, so be sure to lower the weight to start with and you can slowly build it up over time. If you don't have access to a cable machine, then there are other options you can do too. You can replace the cable machine with a resistance band and still get that fantastic work in. But make sure you are starting with plenty of resistance at the beginning of that movement, because with a resistance band, it can be easy to start with slack. So it starts off with the arm under tension as you're in that stretch phase, going all the way through. Another great way to do it, if you can transfer onto a bench, is an incline bench bicep curl. On the incline bench, our arms are dangling in a pre-stretch position. That means when we're doing the bicep curl, we're starting in a stretch position and pulling it right the way through. This is great because research has shown that when we add load to the stretch part of the phase and go through a full range of motion, we're likely to experience better results. Which moves us nicely onto point number 2, which is all about controlling the eccentric phase of the bicep curl. Now, when we think of curls, we think of pulling it up and then dropping them back down again. But pulling them up is where we put most of the focus, and that's only half of the exercise. The bicep is working all the way up and all the way down. So it's important to focus on the downwards part as well. We don't want gravity to take over and just let those weights drop. We want to slowly control the descent and get that bicep working for more time. The time under tension is what's key. When we do just one half of the exercise and let gravity take over, that's half the time of going all the way up and slowly on the way down. That will lead to better increase of muscle gain. So control your movement, go nice and slowly, and you'll see better results. So we know we must go for a full range of motion and nice and controlled, but positioning of our hands is also important. Exercises like hammer curls have a great place in our bicep training, but the exercises we should be focusing on our bicep training are ones where the palms are facing up. This is because when the palm faces up, the bicep has more contraction. This helps to engage the bicep fully. And the last thing we want to focus on when we're doing our bicep training is to explore different rep ranges. Each of us respond differently to different stimulus. Some of us may need to do heavier weights but for less reps, and some of us may need a lighter weight and do more reps. But remember, when we're starting out doing full range of motion, you will need to start lighter. So start with that lighter weight, and over time you'll get a better understanding of what works for you. But have fun experimenting with different rep ranges and different exercises too. A good way to know what works is that when you do the exercise, you'll feel that tension on the muscles. They'll also fatigue a lot quicker when you're working them harder, and you'll also experience the pump, where the blood rushes to the muscle and enlarges it temporarily. Find 1, 2, or even 3 of these things and you'll know you're on the right path to a great bicep exercise that works for you. So to summarize what we've learned, we want to emphasize on the stretch part of our movements. We could do great exercises like the cable behind bicep curl, one that's really great as a wheelchair user because it's super simple to set up. And we want to go through a full range of motion and make sure that on the eccentric phase, the lowering phase, we're going nice, slow and controlled. We also want to make sure that our palms are facing up throughout the ranges of motion so we get maximum engagement in our biceps. And lastly, we want to experiment with different rep ranges and find what works for us. By using these techniques, you'll optimize your bicep training and soon find you'll get better results than ever before. But if you have any further comments, questions or concerns, pop them in the comments section down below and I'll be sure to get back to you on this. If you did like the video, hit that like button, and if you're new here or you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this, with many more coming in the future. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Are you ready to start your fitness journey? Then sign up now at adapttoperform.co.uk and get access to hundreds of workouts specifically for us wheelchair users.